Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Big Brothers podcast. My name's Jacob, and we also got Finn. Finn, my buddy, you are looking so beautiful.
You can say it. You can say it. It's okay.
You're
We're all
looking
friends
so
here.
you're looking so beautiful. You
Oh,
look so
why?
beautiful.
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. Please tell us who you're going to evict tonight.
Dog, Mary, dog, Mary, dog. I swear to God, so many dogs being said today. Mary, how are you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'll make sure not to stutter when I say, Finn, you look beautiful too, okay?
Thank you. I know it's the beard. I grew it myself.
I love how wholesome this podcast is starting.
For real.
Awesome. So we missed last week. My apologies. I was at a music festival and I could not make it. But you know what? I'm much happier I missed last week's podcast and I did not miss this week's podcast. We got a lot of spice this week. I'm really excited. Miri, how are you feeling about this whole shenanigans of a week?
Dog, this was a peak week in BB history. I mean, it was ultimate mess. From the gameplay to the drama. I mean, just what more can you ask for when it comes to entertainment, right? This season just keeps delivering.
It really, really does keep delivering. But because we missed last week, let's do a quick rundown. So Finn, how did you feel about losing our Lisa?
You know, I think I kind of expected her to not really live up to the potential of your average Big Brother house guest. But I expected her to flop in a completely different way. I expected her to be the person, what's that one girl from BB14, the Gen City. I expected her to be the Gen City. She's just there. She's forgettable. There is certainly nothing forgettable about Lisa, but unfortunately, she just wasn't clicking with this group. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the glitter.
Yep.
Okay, it was probably the glitter.
Definitely the glitter.
I think the
100%.
glitter in the food was a bit much, but you know, she flopped in a completely different way. She won a veto competition, which surprised the hell out of me. So, you know, Lisa, you gave us some good content, but I have to admit, the week you went out, not the most interesting week of all of them. It certainly wasn't boring by any means.
No, I totally agree with you. I think that last week, it was pretty straightforward, but I will say one thing that we got out of last week for sure. All right, we got a few good things, but one of the craziest things we got, Tucker, man, I don't even know, breaking out of his cocoon. We didn't even see him in the first week. Last week, he decides to volunteer for the block. And this week, Miri, he decides to volunteer for the block again and take it a step further.
Dog, we have seen Tucker become the main character of the show, I feel. And it's pretty funny to see someone like him be the main character because he's not really the strategic mastermind, clearly, because he's doing some ballsy and risky ass shit. But I mean, I'm here for it. I just think the way that he took over the show in week 2 to get his main target out that we'll get into, and then keep that momentum into week 3, whether good or bad, has just been amazing to watch. I'm so happy to get more into Tucker tonight, for real.
Honestly, and unfortunately, throughout this week of chaos, which we will go through, we will start, but it looks like, spoiler alert, we're gonna get a little bit more Tucker next week too. But
Thank God for
anyways,
that.
Say that like it's a bad thing. I'm here for it.
man, if anyone won this week, let me tell you, Team Fun Feeds, you're eating. You're eating. Okay. But we need to go over our week 3 of Big Brother 26. Thanks. Big Brother 26, week 3 starts off with a little roast by Angela. Angela comes out of not being voted out in a blind side that she's kept in the house, I guess, Finn. She seemed really confused and then really wanted hugs. How are you feeling about Angela after week 2?
Yeah, Angela getting blindsided is pretty on track with this season. I feel like once she was out of power, everyone was just like, okay, we need to like distance ourselves from her. I think Quinn, the moment Angela came down those stairs and started doing that slow clap, I think Quinn knew, oh no, what have I done hitching my wagon to Angela? Yeah. And it could have cost him dearly this week. I think we'll get into that a little bit later on. But anyways, back to the topic at hand. Angela, completely blindsided that Lisa went out, starts talking about Lisa, really pissing off the Facebook community from what I noticed. They are still upset that she's in the house.
Really? What?
They do not like her. They do not like her on Facebook at all.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah. Angela's a star. Mary, is Angela a star or what?
Man, Angela is truly a star, but I'll tell y'all, she's not polling too well with her own demographic. I mean, my own godmom refuses to watch the show because she's just not messing with Angela. She can't handle it. Wow. So, I mean, it's just, I think she's not everyone's cup of tea. She's super confrontational, and I love it. I love the drama, but I get it too. I get if people are feeling like, Angela, she's a bit much.
She is a lot because she wants hugs, and no one wants to give her a hug. I thought that scene was freaking hilarious, but we run. Yeah, no,
it's like Angela. They didn't save you. They just liked you. They just disliked you less than they disliked Lisa. That's true. The thing. Like,
yeah, they fucking hated Lisa.
I mean, to be fair, Lisa was putting glitter in people's foods and like rubbing it on their pillows. I would be sick of her too. I mean, imagine being stuck in a house with that person doing that for over 2 weeks at that point. Like, no, I'd be pretty fed up.
That shit's wild. They're like moving water. Anyway, we get to our HOH comp, our third HOH comp, and we see a little balance beam action. And it looked like kind of interesting, I guess. They had to go click buttons on the balance beam. It's a little bit of an adjustment to like the other, like just see how fast you can do it. Mary, how did you like the adjustment on this balance beam comp?
Honestly, I thought it was a pretty good upgrade to it. It does make it a little bit more physical, which obviously we're trying to avoid when we're thinking about equitable comps. But I mean, from a viewer perspective, it made it more intense. It made it more fun seeing who was really going to rack up those points. And I was kind of disappointed that no one was really tripping. How about y'all? Like, we didn't really get a lot of fails. I was like, we didn't see one person tripping up too much aside from Brooklyn. Like, I was hoping for a few bloopers. You know what I mean? I was a little disappointed by that. So maybe they got to make it even harder.
Brooklyn ate some biscuits, let me tell you. Holy crap. She took a face full of wood. But yeah, you're right. Not a lot of people actually really messed up. But also, like, I like the idea of it, but I was a little disappointed because I was like, Angela, like, there's no fucking way she can win this. Yeah. There's, like, no way. And, like, Kenny's, like, we'll get to Kenny, but like, no way Kenny's winning this. Like, it was a lot more physical. So I'm kind of like feeling like maybe we're going a little too far in the comp area. I get it's part of the show. Like, I mean, it also is, but I would like to kind of like take a step back. You know what I mean?
Hear me out. I'm thinking they can make this a much more exciting comp if they just make them spin 15 times and then start the course and make it a regular course, but just make them spin before they get on there.
They already have the chair too. It's not
exactly.
Like they don't have to pay more money for the chair. They got just go in the room and then come out. And I like that idea. And then you get more falls too.
Yeah,
exactly.
But at the end of the day, if they're going to throw in a couple of physical comps here and there, I can live with that. I still think this was a really cool twist on a comp that we've seen a good number of times at this point. If they're going to keep using like the same set pieces with a fresh coat of paint every year, at least they're shaking it up and adding in different mechanics. And I feel like there were a lot of really cool opportunities for people to kind of game the system. I mean, we saw Quinn really thinking outside the box and making sure that he hit the one that was worth either 3 points or 4 points less so that he could hit it again right away. And I was just like, that is so smart. This is a man who watches Peridium's comp hacking videos because he is thinking outside the box.
Well, I was gonna say Mackenzie and Cedric did the exact same idea. I think
Mhm.
Quinn did the 3, and then they did the 4. And I was like, oh, okay, like at least you can like game the competition, which was kind of cool. So like even if you weren't like super athletic, if you were able to like figure out the gaming the competition better than someone else, like it gives you an opportunity.
Definitely.
So I do like that. But we get Cedric winning our HOH. And Miri, how did you feel about one of your CCCs winning HOH?
Man, I'll tell you, I was ecstatic when Cedric won the HOH. Now that excitement may have dwindled throughout the week, and we'll get into that. But at the start, I was on cloud 9. I was like, my draft is killing it, and the first pick in my draft is killing it, especially. So I was feeling good, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think like him winning, like honestly, I was like, he's got an easy week. And it honestly got even easier when Angela and Kenny both volunteer for the block. So he's only really got to pick one more person. And Finn, he really hunts hard for a third person to fucking volunteer from the block.
You see, the thing is, Tucker set a bit of a precedent when he volunteered to go on the block last week. And now I think everyone kind of just expects that someone is going to volunteer for that third or second position or whatever. And, I guess I kind of get the logic behind it in a sense, because the way this AI arena competition is designed, it's not always the worst thing. I mean, I wouldn't say I'd want to be on the block at all. But if you are on the block, at least you can save yourself on Thursday, and you only have to beat 2 other people. I mean, that is the best odds of any competition in the game, like, period. So to a certain extent, I can see why people would want to volunteer to go on the block. However, in this case, no one really wants to, because everyone's been playing this game really safe. Like I said, ever since Angela came walking down those stairs, I think a lot of people were just like, all right, cool. I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to let these bigger names take shots at each other. I'm just going to let this play out. And unfortunately, I think Cedric kind of had a similar mentality in mind, because now he's going around asking every single person in the house if he can put them up as a pawn, and no one wants to do it. And now, I have to make a decision. So much for a squeaky clean HOH, but it gets even worse from there, which we will get to.
Yeah, well, he really is trying to find it, except for I guess he kind of does get a third volunteer when Tucker asks to come back on the like he said he could go back on the block. So Tucker's willing to go on the block again. And Miri, have you ever witnessed so many people wanting to just touch their butt on the block?
I mean, this is probably unprecedented. I can't really think of a time or a singular player that was just trying to go up on the block so many times. And I mean, on Cedric's part of it, I think he really bungled how he was going to find this third nominee, because if no one's coming up to you volunteering the way Tucker did, and you're going to other people saying, I want you to be the pawn, and then not following through on it,
Yeah.
you're just making a lot of people know that you were considering them for the block, right? It's not going to build any trust, and it's just going to make people sus on you. But he does, like you said, get Tucker to kind of commit to this plan. But the thing is, once you get in bed with Tucker, you kind of got to do what Tucker says if he's rolling with the power. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of grave he dug him. That he kind of shot himself in the foot by going with Tucker volunteering, because, Tucker had contingencies and plans in place for what he wanted to happen in the week, and Cedric was not willing to write and cash those checks.
He really did like a deal with the devil. He's like, all right, like I'll go on the block. I'll go on the block. But you're doing what I want to do when veto rolls around, and we are gonna get to that real shortly. But first, let me tell you, we got romance roulette. Holy crap! This cast is trying to like all hook up with each other, except none of them like the person that is trying to hook up with them. I literally am not joking, guys. I wrote it out. So Quinn is into Leah. Cam is into Leah. Leah is mid about both, but kind of into Tucker. Chelsea is down bad for Cam, at least she was, and now she isn't. And Tucker is into fish, but now we're finding out is really into Rabina. Did I get that all right, or was I missing anyone?
You missed one thing. Chemo is also really into Tucker, which
Right, that's
I
the
can't
next
say I blame
episode.
him.
My apologies. Yep. Chemo is also into Tucker. So, like, 8 people are into Tucker. And Tucker's into Rabina, who I think is into Tucker. I don't really know, but it is a little ridiculous in there.
Now
Mary,
I have a theory. I have a theory, y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
With the do either of y'all watch Love Island?
Nope.
No.
Okay, so listen, I'm a fan. I own that. I love Love Island. I stuck with them when they were a more like mid show, and now they're popping, right? And this season it was really big. And I have a theory that some of the casting for Big Brother might have just dipped over from Love Island just because we got some super dramatic, super horny individuals in this house, and they all are going for other people. And it's just giving me so many Love Island vibes. I can't lie. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let's keep shaking it up.
I mean, we've already got the rumors that Angela is a CBS plant, so I mean that kind of fits.
Dude, honestly, Trader did it first. Traders was stealing from everyone's reality show, and they're like, well, why don't we just all like do some orgy of contestants all together? And like, no pun intended. I didn't even mean for that to be a fucking romance pun, but it is. And who knows? Maybe in like 5 weeks from now, we will get a fucking orgy in the house. Who
never know? BB9 all over again.
Oh,
oh
God!
Wow.
Side note, I actually fucking love BB9.
Oh,
it's a dirty
low-key
secret.
underrated.
Such an underrated
Low-key
season.
underrated.
Such a hilarious week 1 and 2.
It's such a good panel. I mean, you guys are great. Anyway, so on the block, Cedric puts up Kenny, the volunteer and quitter, Angela, the volunteer and crier, and Tucker, the volunteer devil. This leads us to episode 2, and it starts with talking about Kenny and how much he wants to quit or how much he misses his kids or whatever. Mary, did this not drive you crazy?
Man, I was sick and tired of it when they were like 30 seconds into the yes and no bit. I was just like, Kenny, man, I get it. You miss your family. But haven't you been trying to get on this show for years and you're just going to squander this opportunity because it's not going your way? I mean, I was disappointed to say the least. But I mean, it's Kenny. What can you do?
We could have Finn on that show, and instead we have Kenny, bro. Are you kidding
me? Wasted casting slot, for real.
Oh, something tells me I wouldn't have been competing for Kenny's spot in particular, but, you know, I appreciate the sentiment anyways. No, I think the impact of seeing Kenny's emotions towards the game were a little softened on me because he's been talking about wanting to quit since week 2. And it's gotten a little bit old at this point. It's like, dude, just why are you winning vetoes then? You know what I mean? Like, do you want to stay in this or not? And I mean, you know, I get it. He's a complicated human with complicated emotions. But at the same time, no one else in that house is doing what he's doing. And, you know, I get that being, you know, on the block, a target a lot, that's hard. I've been in that position before. It's difficult. But so is Angela, and she is, like, begging to stay in that house any longer. So I think, Kenny, maybe this was not the adventure for you.
God.
Truly. Well put.
Yeah, agreed. So anyway, Kenny, anyway, I don't want to talk about Kenny right now. Chemo, I guess we'll move on to, I guess, some of the big drama that really happens this week. Chemo lets Tucker know that Quinn has the power. How do you guys feel about Chemo letting it slip to Tucker of all people? Not even T-Core, Tucker.
I think that was definitely a mistake for Chemo, but I don't think it's necessarily blowing back on him too hard yet. He seems to be getting out of this unscathed. I haven't really heard any whisperings of him being a target as a result of this, but yeah, it probably wasn't great that he let that slip. Though, to be honest, he wasn't the only person who knew. Angela was also told about the power, but no one believed her. So he could have just kind of let that run and just, be hands off with it. The power would have expired one more week, but I guess he decided he wanted to try and get closer with Tucker.
Yeah, that was a bad move by Chemo, but he was blinded by love. Sometimes it happens. It happens.
It happens, man.
Yeah, and so this leads, I guess, to Tucker wanting to expose the powers. But first, we have a veto competition, and this competition, Miri, I don't know how you felt about it. Let me tell you personally, I was pretty bored of it, mate.
That might be a better accent than any of the accents that any of the contestants tried during the comp. I can't lie. Leah, Tucker, I think Mackenzie tried one. It was a mess, man. But yeah, I can't lie. The comp was a bit of a snooze fest. I didn't hate it in design, but I think we just saw way too much content of everyone doing it, But I laughed a couple of times. I giggled with Angela. I giggled with Tucker. I was laughing when everyone was getting there and hitting them, and it was just going powering down. There were some good moments, but I agree. They drew it on way too long. So BB producers, next season, if y'all bring this back, let's make that like an 8-minute segment, not like a 20-minute segment.
Dude, that could have been like, do you know the amount of shenanigans that happened on the feeds this week? That could have been like literally like 30 other segments. They could have cut that down to half. 30 other sweet ass segments in that spot, but whatever. We got a competition where they're in the jungle trying to like plug in something, and we got some really terrible accents. But we get a pretty awesome outcome from this veto competition. Finn, please tell us, my friend, who was our winner?
The winner was none other than Tucker, going on to win his third comp, well, not in a row, but third comp this season.
Tucker!
And
Beast.
I was not surprised. I was not surprised when I saw this feed update. I opened my phone and Tucker won the POV. Oh, cool. Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. What didn't make total sense was what happened afterwards. And now, I'd like to say, he was talking about doing this. I didn't think he was actually going to do it, though.
Yeah. What? It was crazy. Like when they were saying, so okay, just to set the scene for everyone. So Tucker wants to expose the powers, basically. And so he knows that Mackenzie has the power because she told everyone, basically. And he knows now that Quinn has the power. So his first thought is, before he even got nominated, I think his first thought was, let's get Mackenzie on the block. Let's get her to use her power. And then you can, I don't know, like put Tucker up or something like that, right? This is kind of what you said, Miri. You're doing a deal with the devil. Like, that's his original thought. Well, Buddy wins veto, and no, it's no longer Mackenzie. It's Quinn. He wants Quinn up there, but he's not going the easy route. Miri, how did you feel about? Can you explain Tucker's plan and what was going through his head?
I think this is what makes Tucker such a universal fan favorite at the moment. He's just, everything he does makes no sense. And it's just so much fun to watch because he decides he's going to use the veto on someone not named Tucker, not named Kenny. He's taking our girl Angela off the block, ruining all the casuals' day, making all the super fans proud and happy. And he decides, if anyone's going to take out Quinn in the AI arena, it ain't going to be Angela. It's going to be me. And, he called his shot. And even though everything doesn't go the way he wants it to, in the end, it was a badass move. I can't lie. And it really showed that Tucker, well, it has game. It may not be the best game, but he's got game,
For sure. We have not seen a move like this in a long time in Big Brother.
Ever? Have we seen a move like this?
We have. Well, kind of, sort of. So I think the most similar thing to this would be either Brendan taking Rachel off the block in Big Brother 13 and then getting evicted and then coming back and then getting evicted again.
Right. Yeah.
And then there was also the situation with Evil Dick where if it was a normal season, he would have been evicted, but because America's Player was a thing, Eric Stein convinced everyone to blindside Dustin instead, so we got the famous moment.
Classic.
Yeah, that's classic. That's such a good
And then we
description.
also saw something like this happen at the Final Five in Big Brother Canada
Yeah,
a few years
Jedson.
back.
It was with Beth, right? It was Final Six.
Was it Final Six?
Yes, but I remember
Yeah.
that 'cause that's what I was going to bring up too.
Mhm.
That Tucker reminded me of like, wait, not as good as Jedson, but kind of reminded me of Jedson a little bit. Now that you kind of were telling me a few of those, but anyway, continue. Sorry.
No, it's okay. But yeah, historically speaking, using the block on someone other than yourself using the veto on someone other than yourself when you're on the block doesn't usually work out. And again, the only reason it worked out for Evil Dick is because of a twist that no one had any idea about. And I guess you could kind of make the similar case in this situation, except everyone knew the AI arena is a thing. But regardless, still a really risky move to make. And Tucker survived. He is the first person since Evil Dick to pull a move like this and survive. But it was kind of, I don't want to say a brilliant move because it was an unnecessary risk. And if this were a normal season of Big Brother, it would have most certainly resulted in his eviction. But by vetoing the house target, now all of a sudden everyone has to pick another target. And I mean, fortunately for them, there was another target on the block. But I think Tucker kind of drew a line in the sand, and he's just kind of seeing who's going to step over to the other side. And I think there might be people who might decide to step over to the other side, depending on how this week plays out anyways.
Yeah, Buddy put a chasm in the sand. Holy crap. He's like, come to the dark side. For real.
There you go, come to the dark side.
Yeah, honestly. Well, so yeah, Tucker goes through with his plan, and Angela's face during Angela's reaction.
She looked like that meme, Willem Dafoe in the lighthouse where he's looking up like all like that was really Angela.
Now, there was a lot of scrambling happening before this, but the only person who didn't know what Tucker was going to do was Angela. She had no idea any of this nonsense was happening.
Again, in the best way possible. It's crazy.
Her journey, I can only imagine being in her shoes and experiencing her journey in this season from her perspective. I mean, wow.
Dude,
so fascinating.
Angela is failing upwards. She is, I'm not joking. That's like the only way I can do. She's literally like tripping, stumbling, flailing all over herself. And for some reason, she's getting closer and closer to the finish line, and everyone is getting in the dust. Dude, we'll get to what happens next week. Is Angela I don't think did she even hit the block next week? I don't even think so. Maybe we'll have to see, but we can talk about it. But man, from basically barely surviving second week, third week, she gets vetoed. Man, if she does hit the block and Tucker's on the block with it, does Tucker use the veto again on Angela next week? That actually might fucking happen.
I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, he's clearly demonstrated that he can do it once. Why not do it again?
Shit's crazy.
It's the season of anomalies, man. Yeah. Anything can happen.
It really, really is. So anyway, veto comes out. So Tucker uses it on Angela, and Cedric doesn't follow through with the Quinn deal, which we find out in episode 3 he was never gonna follow, which I guess me to one of my complaints, but we'll wait until the American veto with this episode. But yeah, Cedric does not follow through with Tucker's plan. He puts up MJ instead, and MJ also found out in the next episode that she was not going to use the power on herself until Tucker used the veto on Angela. It makes no sense at all. But anyway, so he uses it on Angela. MJ goes up. MJ uses the power to save herself, and now America votes. Miri, how did you feel watching this episode? And I know you're kind of keeping up with the feeds as well. How did you feel about this episode afterwards, knowing that the America vote was coming? How did you feel about the edit of this episode?
I mean, it's been an interesting conversation online about how the producers are editing the season, and with a twist that's really, I guess, centered around the public and their perception of each player. I mean, everyone's edit was going to be super in the spotlight, for this episode. And I mean, let's be real. I think Tucker got a great edit in episode 2, and I think Quinn got a pretty cocky edit. And I think we were led to believe at the end of episode 2 that if we want Tucker to succeed after Cedric just screwed him over, then Quinn's got to go up. That was kind of the impression I think, at least the edit left in my mind. I don't know.
How did you feel about Rubina's edit in that episode? Or sorry, Brooklyn's edit, or I don't know, T-Core's edit.
Who?
Yeah, bro. I was so annoyed.
I don't know.
Yeah, dude, honestly, I was so annoyed. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm all about the good TV, and like the producers knew what they were doing. Let's be honest. And like, I'm not that upset about it. Like, we got what we got in episode 3, and it was so nice. But like, man, they basically threw Quinn, almost said Finn, Quinn so hard under the bus, and then just threw 3 more buses on top of Quinn. And I mean, I'm not mad about it. Like, it was made for entertaining TV, but I mean, I don't really like these like American veto powers. I honestly would have liked it better if like MJ got to choose the veto like nominee. I think that could have been like a really cool power, and probably a little bit more in line with the power of like the HOH. Her power is so much more balls than Quinn's power is.
Truly.
But yeah, and how did you feel about the edit?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I thought it was really funny when we saw the segment of everyone else campaigning to not get voted for in the Thursday night episode, a good 8 hours after the vote closed. Yeah, that was funny. I kind of agree, though. It did really feel like they were setting up Quinn going up on the block, which, it is kind of screwing him over a little bit, but I'm not that perturbed by it in general, just because I think there was a general understanding around the house that they weren't going to vote out that third nominee, that whichever loser between Kenny and Tucker was just going to go home. So I don't think it's, that egregious in this specific scenario, but in general, I do agree. At that point as a player, you're pretty much at the mercy of whatever edit you're getting on the show. And you have no idea, you have no control. The only thing you can really do is pay attention to how often people are going to the DR. And even that is not infallible. So I agree, it is a little bit unfair. I do wish that Mackenzie, like, why not just give her a diamond power of veto, call it something different. I don't know, have it AI related. I mean, they had the invisible HOH advantage. I mean, that's basically what it is.
The virus veto. It's right there.
There we go. I don't know why they didn't go with that. They could have done an America's Vote for something else. I don't know.
It was off the top of my head. I literally made that. I made that up, and it's literally better than their stupid American veto. Whatever. Anyway,
I don't know. I don't think they've done an America's Vote in a while or something. They must have just missed it. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, so that's the episode. However, it kind of ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger because Tucker is pissed at Cedric, and he's like, "You motherfucker! Like, I'm gonna put you in the block. Like, you're wiener." Yeah, he's pissed at Cedric.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, when you're on this block in the AI arena, I'm gonna fuck you up. Probably will if somehow Cedric ends up on the block with Tucker. Tucker probably will fuck up Cedric. But this moves us on to episode 3. And Miri, of the 3 episodes, this one was my favorite personally. And the blow up at the beginning was so good. Miri, how do you feel about the blow up at the beginning?
Oh my god, it was art, man. We just keep getting legendary fights, I feel. Like Tucker is kind of the king of call-outs, I feel. He just goes for it. He's down to talk his shit to anyone. That house meeting we get right after their first initial talk. Oh man, just everyone going at each other, especially Tucker to Quinn And Cedric, it was just, oh, I loved every second of it. What about y'all?
I think one of my favorite parts was the flashback that they included right at the beginning of the episode, where we do get confirmation that Cedric told Tucker, "I'm not going to put up Quinn."
Wrong.
And Tucker just says,
"Swear,
I don't."
You never did. But even if you did, but which you didn't, like flashback. Yeah, you did.
But it's funny because Tucker said, "I don't fucking care. I'm doing it anyways." Like, that's exactly what he said. So I don't know if he just forgot. I don't know if he just misheard. I don't know if he's just playing it up to try and make it seem like he's not close with Cedric anymore. I don't really know what Tucker's trying to do. Frankly, I don't really care. He's great TV. I'm enjoying it.
Cedric comes up to him. Yo, we don't have the vote, so you shouldn't do it. Like, it's not a good idea. Use the veto on yourself. Oh, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do it anyway.
That is the kind of
energy. How much more obvious can the guy get without saying, without saying what he said? Use the veto on yourself. We don't have the numbers. No, I don't fucking care.
Tucker is the crackhead energy we have desperately needed on this show. We have not had someone like Tucker in a long time, and I am so happy he is here.
Buddy is chaos incarnate. But I personally, going back to what Miri said about like when they called like the house meeting, man, I have to say, like, Cedric really impressed me with, like, that is how you do a house meeting. We've seen like quite a few house meetings in the past little while, and like that's how you do it. Like, you're getting a little bit of heat. All right, fine. Like, let's go have a house meeting. And then literally just be like, Tucker, what's the plan? And let Tucker implode on everyone. Like, that's a smart move. Like, I was really impressed with what Cedric was doing, to be honest.
Definitely. I mean, yeah. I think he played this week poorly when it came to Tucker, but with everyone else, he played it pretty perfectly. Yeah. I mean, not spoiling how the results go, but knowing how we're moving into next week, I think Cedric should be the safest person in the house, right? I mean, that's how we should feel. He played his cards really well with everyone not named Tucker.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I actually think like having an enemy like Tucker is like not even that bad, to be honest, because Tucker's like, I mean, he's not quite on an island right now, based on like Rabina being with him and like maybe a few other people kind of, but like, man, like having an enemy inside the house that's like your ass is mine, like that's great because everyone's like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about Cedric, like he's got someone else worrying about him. Meanwhile, like if Cedric actually touches the block, not only does he have like 3 or 4 fucking chances to come down, but he also probably stays because people are like, well, like we got to keep Cedric so that Tucker keeps going after Cedric and not me. Like, I agree. He, like, if you're going to choose an enemy, I mean, like Tucker, I mean, yeah, you'll have to get rid of him eventually or as quickly as possible. But like at the same time, it's like, it's not that bad, to be honest. Yeah. So anyway, in episode 3, also just like kind of side note, like, what the fuck was Tucker wearing?
Yeah, I saw that too, and I'm like, what did they do to him? The man has a mohawk. He's got, I don't even know what his outfit was. Don't even get me started. I don't know what they did to his facial hair. It works. He's pulling it off, but oh my goodness. And he's he's doing that, and then I don't know, he just screams or something at one point.
Hey, maybe I'm tripping, but I feel like it used to be more of a trend where people going home would dress up in a really wacky way on eviction night. I think of Chicken George with the suit, the robot suit, right? Or maybe he had the Afro suit when he was going out. I can't remember. But I think, it is kind of a really wacky thing to look kind of goofy when you could potentially be walking out and meeting Julie. But I kind of respected the commitment. He looked like a punk rocker up there. I can't lie. And the way the night ended, he just looked even more punk. So,
you know what?
Fit the image.
Miri, I think you might have like literally with that like 10-second pitch right there. I think you might have just changed my mind. I think I'm kind of down for like everyone to just dress up in like stupid shit and like just being like knowing that they're on like a game show that's like supposed to kind of be a little campy. Like let's fall into the camp a little bit. I actually totally agree with that.
I mean, they have a lot of time to think about how Thursday is going to go after that veto meeting is over. They might as well get creative during that time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. And so I guess we kind of go into the flashbacks of like people really like pitching to America, even though they've already voted, which makes no sense. But I have to say my favorite of all of the like that kind of like side quest content, Joseph shined this episode. Buddy's karate moves and going to the dojo comment when he's never actually been inside it. Miri, how are you feeling? Man, that's my guy. Joseph's my guy. How are you feeling about the mustachio mystery?
Man, I might just keep growing this mustache out for Joseph at this point. I mean, this was a real coming out like episode for him, I think, in the edit. And I mean, I don't know if y'all have seen anything on social media regarding Joseph, but whoever's running his account on Instagram,
Broseph's account, baby. I
Oh, I
followed
need to
that
check
shit
this
for
out.
sure.
they've done a golden job at pitching for people not to vote for Joseph for this twist. And it was great. They were having blockbuster ads saying don't vote Joseph. They were having, it was just the funniest shit. Like, they killed it. Joseph clearly is a funny ass dude, and the people running his page clearly reflect that also. You probably got to be funny to work in a Blockbuster, man. I remember all the dudes when I was growing up going to Blockbusters were funny as hell.
Bro, in his Chenbot comment and like when he fucking rips on Kenny, bro, I love that stuff. I guess before we should kind of get to the vote. But I do have to say, like I said at the beginning, but man, the amount of fighting that Tucker and Cedric had compared to the amount of times they said dog in that conversation blew my mind. Like, I literally am not joking. Like, take a shot every time they say dog. You're not going to make it to the end of the episode for sure. For sure. But anyway, we get to the live eviction and Finn. Who else is up there but Quinn?
Part of me wanted to hope that they were going to realize, okay, Quinn's got this power. He's a big player in this house. He's in all these alliances, which are kind of sort of exposed now. Kind of sort of. I was expecting more people besides Tucker to take a shot at him. I was surprised Angela did not try to vote him out, but honestly, I think that's the move because there wasn't really any realistic scenario in which Quinn was going home against Kenny. I think people were just kind of done with Kenny. And you know what? He asked for it. If I was voting Kenny out, I would have gone into that diary room. I would have invoked Jeff Probst, and I would have said, "Kenny, per your wishes, go home."
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I think like Quinn going off the block, like it made for a great episode. I'm glad that they like if they were gonna throw anyone under the bus, like let it be the guy that like shouted out Ice Spice, but I think like Quinn needed to I think he needed a little slap on the wrist for all the stupid crap he's been doing in like game wise. Like I think he like needed to like feel the heat a little bit, and so he gets put up on the block. And Miri, we see the AI arena twist steering its head, and it's got a big old Tucker face on it, right?
Man, I think this dude might become the next big comp beast if he sticks around long enough. Because I mean, he seems untouchable right now. He blew both these dudes out of the water, and I mean, Kenny won a veto, Quinn won an upgrade. They're not slouches in these comps.
He blew him out of the blowhole. Blew him right out.
See, like right out of the gates, he had like 5 before anyone had 1. It was insane. He had the strat down from the start. I was trying to study it. I was like, what's he doing?
5 seconds. It took me 5 seconds of watching that. I was like, oh yeah, no, Tucker's safe. 3 seconds, bro.
I wasn't entirely sure what he did. It looked like he was grabbing them and stashing them and just putting them in there like crazy. I think most other people were trying to focus on 1 or 2 at a time. Not Kenny. Tucker seemed like he was like grabbing every single one that he could. And, they kept cutting away from him, so I couldn't exactly tell what he was doing. But once he started to pull away, I was like, okay, Tucker's got this. He's good. He's going to stay. We're going to survive. And then I celebrated like hell when he finally won that competition. I would have been so upset if he lost because he was going home 100%.
Yeah. I said at the beginning, Team Fun Feeds 8
Mhm.
today, and I was really happy with it. Now, to go back to the competition though quickly, is the like move to like from now on, like in the AI arena, wear like a flowy shirt so that you can like unbutton and like spread like Batman so that you can just collect balls? Like, is that like the like move? Like, am I wrong?
You might have cracked the code, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I
Yeah,
see
like
it working.
yeah, and then you literally just Batman cape them, then just like pick them out of your like, you know, your chest or whatever. Boom,
Yeah.
red ones.
I mean, hey, you can win the wall comp by wearing a hoodie. Might as
Yeah.
well win the ball grabbing, the ball collecting comp with a big whatever the hell Tucker was wearing.
Well, let me tell you, Tucker loves balls because he crushed that comp. It was not even close. They come down the stairs looking. Does production tell him like you guys got to pretend like your dog died when you go down stairs because they looked so depressed when like the camera and the winner of the AI comp. Tucker.
We also got production showing Rubina's reaction to Tucker winning, which probably confused a lot of the casuals, considering that has not been brought up on the show yet. Ironically, if they had saved that showmance segment for this coming week, it would have, they would have been able to talk about it, but I digress. Rubina was definitely...
Did Tucker and Rubina kiss?
They might
not on the she told them not on the lips, but they were doing a lot of necking.
Oh.
So I mean, shit, they're definitely going to showman's territory, but we'll see if they fully give in. But I feel like Tubina is a real thing now.
You can only get so many kisses on the neck before you accidentally slip to the lip, you know?
We all know where this is going.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Let's see how long they last, honestly. Like maybe they last like until jury. I would love them in jury. I think that would be awesome.
For real.
I mean, Tucker needs all the numbers he can get at this point. If he can pull Rubina, I think that's huge.
So yeah. Tucker's now on the block, and it's Quinn versus Quitter. I mean, sorry, Kenny. And my bad. Slip of the lip. And so Kenny comes down, sorry, pardon me, and starts hugging people and whispering stuff to them. He's definitely whispering, vote me the fuck out, right?
100%. He was saying to T-Court, thank you so much. I couldn't catch what he said before that, but it was probably vote me out. Thank you so much. Yeah, Kenny was done. He was ready to go.
Thank you so much, BB, for getting honestly like kick him out. Like I don't know. But like whatever. Okay. Let's get to it. So Kenny goes home 10-1. Thank God. Thank God we lost Kenny this week for a couple of reasons. One, like I said before, Team Fun Feeds for life. Like we kept the two way better, way more interesting players in the house. And two, Kenny gets to go see his children, which is all he could talk about, even after 5 years of applying for this show. Can you imagine applying for 5 years and then wanting to quit after 5 hours? That's sad.
I don't know if y'all heard that there was. Oh my bad, you go, Finn. You go.
Yeah, sorry. I've always thought about being in there. I feel like being in there would get to you, and I think most people who go in that house have their moments of get me the hell out of here now. At the same time, though, I'm such a fan of this game. I don't think I could ever imagine myself like actually wanting to leave. I would be so heartbroken if I went out pre-jury. Like that would just be the worst for me.
I think Kenny could have like not even touched the block this week if he didn't want to. Like honestly, I feel like he could have like he was so close with Cedric. Like he could have like actually made like an actual alliance with Cedric. Like been like pushed his agenda, got like one of the girls out. Like it definitely like Aaliyah, MJ, Angela on the block with a Tucker like that could have definitely happened this week. And like thank God we lost Kenny, but also like we lost him on such an interesting week too, because like a normal Kenny eviction is like, okay, like let's say he makes it this week and like, I don't know, maybe you guys don't agree, but like, let's say he makes it this week and like the next week, like, I don't know, Angela goes or whatever. And then Kenny like makes it to like final 8, final 9. Like that week that he's going home, it's going to be
Snooze fest.
such a slog. Right. And so like we lose Kenny in like one of the all-time weeks of Big Brother. And I think that's just like, thank God that's what happened, you know? Like, honestly, for Kenny, thank God that happened. Because, like, people are at least going to remember him as the guy that went out on this insane week, right? Like, I already forgot, like, barely remember Lisa because of this week, right? I'm going to remember Kenny a lot more than Lisa, I think. Well, maybe not. I mean,
I'm going to remember him for everyone clocking that he was a cop the second he walked in that house.
He was no Derek.
Derek. He wasn't fooling anyone, and he shouldn't have even tried.
Yeah, that archetype is such a flop now. Literally anyone like undercover cop, just such a flop.
Next time, they just need to come in and say, yeah, straight up, guys, I'm a cop. I'm not going to try and hide it. You're going to figure it out anyways.
Yeah, for real. All right, well, that is week 3, just chaotic. And I guess really we kind of know what's going to happen next week. Kinda. What do you guys think? And how do you feel about next week?
Yeah, next week is interesting because Quinn has his power and it's the last time he can use it. It's basically an invisible HOH. He gets to take over. He gets to hijack the nominations. It's an early week coup d'etat, if you will. But you know, the downside is that, well, I guess the downside for everyone else is that they're not really in control of this week, because I can't really imagine a scenario where Quinn would not use it unless it's someone he's really close to and he just says, look, I'm not going to use this. You're HOH. You do what you want. You know, keep my hands free of it. But if someone like Tucker or Angela wins it, then I guarantee you he's taking it over. And in that sense, it's basically just a competition for immunity for the week.
Yeah, no, for sure. Miri, how are you feeling about next week?
I definitely think this week kind of perfectly sets up next week, because the two guys that survived the block are going to be the two, I think, focal people of next week. You know, Quinn's going to take over the HOH, like we said, and it's going to be a case of can Tucker win veto or AI arena, I think, right? And it's going to be a case of does the HOH-itis kind of get to Quinn, because he's going to have to name 2 people up next to Tucker, and then he might have to name a replacement nom too. And I feel like he's just promised the entire house that his sole target is Tucker. But if Tucker doesn't become an option again, I think we might see a spectacular downfall with Quinn.
Am I wrong, though? Like, is it not like just Angela, Tucker, MJ on the block? Am I is there anyone else that he would even like name, though?
I'm iffy on MJ, just because the whole reason of putting MJ on the block is to flush out her power. And now that's no longer necessary. So I guess at that point, it comes down to how well insulated is she in the house. And I think it's kind of iffy, to be honest. Like, no. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw very similar nominations this week. I mean, especially considering more than likely, unless Tucker wins HOH, I think we're going to expect to see him on the block, which, you know, isn't the worst thing in the world. He'll probably just do what he did again last week and win the veto and use it on someone else and win AI Arena comp again. And great, we have another exciting episode.
Does he ever, like, does Quinn ever win this HOH and just be like, hey, yo, Cam, MJ, and like, I don't know, who's like Cedric, like, can all 3 of you guys go on the block? And just like, we will get into a huge group of people and just be like, none of these people go up on the block. We're going to backdoor. And I guess you can't even backdoor Tucker because AI Arena's a thing, right? So like, it's not really even a point in like backdooring Tucker. But like, I guess, do you put up the best people that can beat him in AI Arena? That could be like a little saucy.
It could be. And I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll see something that completely shakes up the house. It's certainly a possibility. I think a lot of people have been playing really quiet, but we're at a point where there's 13 people left now. The new majority is 7. And actually, honestly, the voting majority is 6. You really only need a group of 6 at this point. So
and-
I
that's
wouldn't be
true.
surprised if someone tries to flip the house.
Yeah. I think this season's really like, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I've been quite wrong this whole season, but still have a lot of people. But I really feel like this season's like the like two halves season. Like I could definitely see like the first half of the season, like the rise and fall of Tucker and Quinn, you know, like the battle of these two like crazy individuals with like, you know, a little spice of Angela in there. And then the second half, once all those chaotic people are gone, is like the actual like, okay, we got like Chelsea, Brooklyn versus like Cam and Cedric with like Chemo and T-Core in the middle. And like they're actually like kind of the more strategically like inclined people to actually know how the game operates. And they're really playing for like, you know, who can really top it. And like, I don't know about you guys, but like, damn, I really wish I didn't choose Leah on my draft and I chose Brooklyn instead, because Brooklyn is looking like hella nice spot right now. Like
Can
with
we
a
also-
ride or die Chelsea too.
Yeah.
Like that's a sick ride or die to have too.
They're a powerful duo, man. They could be scary in the game.
You know, speaking of Brooklyn, can we just point out how terrified she was when she found out what America's Veto did? Like, she was like...
I already saw the gifts getting made. It was iconic from the start.
Dude, I don't know if either of you guys are religious, but damn, they really put a lot of religion in this episode. And
Yeah.
like, and
Well,
like
Julie did.
Brooklyn was like, God is good. And then Julie hits us with like the good is God and God is great. And I was like, yo, that's like such a bar, but also why are we talking about this on Big Fucking Brother? It was weird.
Now, do y'all think Brooklyn was trying to get brownie points with Julie by bringing up God? She thought she gets the God 101 invite. She gets on Julie's good side on production. Like, I don't know. It felt like that God is good came out of nowhere. I don't know.
Is the motive to get on this show like just be a little bit like just pretend like you're Catholic or something or Christian or whatever? I
might have to buy a cross chain. I don't know. Like,
no, actually, like I'm a priest. Like you're like a fucking tattoo artist. Like
I would love to see a priest play this game. That would be so fun. I mean, I've watched like a youth pastor play a survivor org, but that's totally different.
I mean, Chelsea is kind of like there are a lot of religious people on this season,
for
like
sure.
Chelsea, Brooklyn, MJ.
hey, listen, y'all.
Matt.
The closest thing we had to a preacher was a preacher's son on season 10.
Right.
And I mean, I think we all know he wasn't the most holy when he was in the house.
Oh my god, that shit was awesome. That's true, actually. Yeah. All right. Anything else that you guys wanted to bring up? We're almost hitting that hour mark, and I'm feeling pretty good about our recap.
Yeah, I think we
hit 'em all.
covered it.
Nailed it. Another smooth ride, baby.
Yep.
Except
As-
for we started an hour and a half later, but that doesn't matter.
As of now, we do not know who the next HOH is going to be. I imagine they're running the comp soon or getting ready to run the comp soon.
I'm checking
Do
my
we want to
Reddit
make
feed.
Do we want to make predictions on who's going to be going home a week from now?
Ooh, hit us. Yeah, Mira, you hit us with the first one. Who do you think it is?
Yeah, I'm going to go for kind of an unexpected pick. I want to hope that Tucker makes it through the week and that we get ultimate mess. And somehow at the end of it, I want to see. I'm gonna go for a hard one. I'm gonna say Cam gets blindsided.
Whoa!
He's on my draft, but I want to see something big happen. And I'm thinking, if Quinn's in power, what could be the messiest thing that he could do? And I feel like he's not close with Cam. He knows he likes Leah too. Opens up that gateway a little more for him. If he can't get Tucker, maybe he gets Cam. I'm gonna go for that pick.
Yo, I was about to do a little kamikaze myself. I was going to choose Rabina on my own draft because I was like, yo, if he can't get Tucker, he's going to get the showmance out. So I was like, oh, Rabina's like probably the option that I would say go. And she's on my draft. And like, I haven't seen her 1 second on the episode. So I could definitely see production being like, yeah, let's get Rabina out. You know what I mean?
You know, I think I'm just gonna do what you guys are doing. I'm gonna give in to peer pressure here. I'm gonna do a little kamikaze myself as well. I think what would be really fun to see is if someone who's sort of close with Quinn wins HOH and makes a deal with Quinn and says, hey, and Quinn says, hey, I'm not going to use my power. I trust you. You're good.
No.
And then backdoors Quinn.
No.
That would be amazing. And
that would be the ultimate mess. Yeah.
I don't want to see Quinn go yet. I want to see him and Tucker stay a while. But what better way to kick off the rest of the season than a big move like that?
I'm gonna say no way that happens.
Probably not.
If it does, bro, I'll eat a piece of grass. Like that sounds awesome.
That would be so. There's no way it's happening. There's no way.
Y'all heard it here. If Quinn gets evicted next week, Jacob is gonna eat a piece of grass. Okay,
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll put it on my social media. Okay, maybe I'm going a little too far, but
well, it's not going to happen anyways. You're probably fine.
Expect the unexpected, Finn.
True.
All righty, and that's all we got for today. Thank you for joining us at the Big Brothers podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed, because I know I did. We'll see you guys all next week. Maybe we'll start on time. I don't know. I missed it completely last week, starting a little late this week. We missed the episode completely 2 weeks ago. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll get
week 4 is the charm. Week 4 is the charm.
Fourth time's the charm. Anyway, boys, I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching the Big Brothers podcast. Have a great night and love everybody.